we are ready.
Hello everyone. My name is Dalia Castro and I'm a presenter for the A-STEP program. Today I'm here to give you a little overview about one of our sessions, and this is T-TESS. So what does T-TESS stand for? Well, T-TESS is the Texas Teacher Education and Support System. It's the new evaluation system throughout the state of Texas that has been implemented during the past 2-3 years. It was piloted about 3 years ago, and now it's in full implementation. So when we meet for our live session, we're gonna have several activities. I have several activities planned for you, and what I plan to do with you is to give you a brief overview of what the plan and the system consists of. It's not meant to be a training, because once you start teaching and you become a new teacher, you'll go through the whole training. So collectively, we're going to look at the different aspects of the system, and we're going to have a clear understanding about what it consists of. So, as I mentioned before, my goal is to familiarize you with the T-TESS process, and so that it can help you, or it can help all of us continue improving professionally. We're going to talk about the different domains, which are the different sections of the instrument, and also about what the role of the teacher and the evaluator, and then what role the students also play in this evaluation system. The main key here is to find ways to connect the appraisal system to training and ongoing professional development. So how did T-TESS originate? Well, in 2014, in June of 2014, the state of Texas implemented new educator standards. So that's the whole foundation of the T-TESS rubric. The impetus for the new evaluation system is to continue offering training and professional development for growth for our teachers. So what does it consist of? Well, in the observations, we look at 80% of the evaluation system consists of the actual ongoing evaluations and conferences and everything that's going on throughout the year. And 20% of your evaluation will consist of what we call the student growth. That has been a topic that's been in discussion for several years. And finally, this year it's being implemented at each of the school districts. And when I meet with you for the actual live session, we have a couple of activities where you will see how different districts have chosen to implement that 20% for student growth. We're gonna discuss several, the requirements of the evaluation system, and also some recommendations. We want to think about our observations as learning tools. What do we learn from each observation, from each evaluation? So there's a process that takes place, such as pre-observation conference, the actual observations, the post-observation conference, and then the summative conferences. And we'll discuss all those in more detail when we meet for the live session. So we're also going to talk about some effective elements of in summary of the evaluation. So what do we want, actually the observation. What is it that an evaluator is looking for when he's doing an observation on a teacher, for a teacher? So, we're gonna talk about rigorous and measurable goals, and if they're aligned to theirs. An evaluator also looks for student engagement. Are the students engaged in the lesson? He looks for alignment of activities and materials throughout the lesson. Is the lesson relevant to the student's future, to the student's education? Is the teacher displaying knowledge of his or her content? Is the teacher checking for understanding in her students? Is the teacher asking questions to extend the learning for students? And is there evidence of student mastery of the objective? An evaluator is also looking for differentiation throughout the class. Are we differentiating? Are we addressing the different learning modes of our students? So as I said before, we'll discuss this in a little more detail once we meet at the live session. We're going to go through the whole instrument, and you're going to see how we have, it consists of 4 broad categories, otherwise known as domains, and also 16 dimensions. Each domain has certain, like 3 or 4 different sections, which are the dimensions. And we're going to get to see how we can take you in one of those dimensions from the different levels of mastery. I will, in your Padlet, one of the documents is also the T-TESS rubric. So if you can start looking through that, that will show you, how the different domains and the different indicators consist of. Okay, so all that is through that. Let's see. We're also going to be discussing how evidence is collected throughout the year, throughout the whole evaluation process. In the T-TESS, it's not just about a 45-minute or 1 hour observation. It's an ongoing process that starts from the beginning of the year and it progresses throughout the year till the summative conference, which we will talk about. So when does your evaluator collect evidence from you? Well, they can collect some evidence prior to the lesson being observed through a pre-observation conference. They can also collect through the review of your lesson plans, unit plans, if they're applicable. We can also collect evidence during the lesson, during the observation, and we can also collect information during the after conference, after the observation conference. So that's comprised of communication between you and your evaluator. So we talked about a pre-conference, and there's also a post-conference. In the post-conference, there's an opportunity for your evaluator and you as the teacher to collaborate and provide verbal feedback, both from evaluator to teacher, from teacher to evaluator, based on the evidence from the lesson. There's also an opportunity where your evaluator will, or together, you can come up with, for example, an area of reinforcement, an area of strength that you might want to continue or reinforce in the future, and also an area of refinement. That would be an area that perhaps we need to grow in, that we need to improve on. But all that should be done collaboratively with your evaluator. So when we meet at the live session, we'll discuss all these different components. Okay. Now let me go over some of the documents that are in your Padlet so that you have them downloaded when you come to the session. In your pre-work, there are several assignments. For example, assignment number 1 consists of a short video. I think that's the Commissioner of Education giving you just a brief overview of the system, and there's some questions for you to complete. Then the next assignments all come from the teachfortexas.org website. That is the website for educators in regards to the T-TESS evaluation process. So if you go to the teachfortexas.org and you go to teacher resources, that's where you will find those assignments, and I've given you like clear instructions how to get there. It's real simple, it's very user-friendly. So hopefully this pre-work will give you a good idea, so when you come into the live session, you'll have an idea as to what we're talking about. I also provided in your Padlet a copy of a document from our district, from Brownsville ISD, about our professional learning plan. This applies to any educator that has received their certification after 1999. So I'm sure different districts have different systems, but this is what we have in Brownsville, and it's very, very useful. So we'll review that one briefly at the session. In there, I also included a copy of the timeline. This came straight from the teachers.org, excuse me, the teachfortexas.org. That came straight from there. And then I also provided a copy of a template and also a sample of a goal setting instrument, which is something that you will have to do every year at the beginning of the school year as part of your evaluation. Okay. Another document that's included in your in the Padlet is the T-TESS rubric, which is available for you, and please download it. I will try to have copies available when you come in, and we're going to analyze. First, we're going to review all the domains and the indicators, and then we're going to do analyze a couple more in detail. A couple of other documents that I included there, and these probably don't make sense yet to you, but as we go through the live session, I'll take you right through these. And remember, I mentioned the progress, the measurement of progress, that 20%. Well, these are a couple of those documents that we use, at least in our district in Brownsville, to measure, document, and see if our students are progressing from one year to the next. It's not the one, it's not the only document, but it's one of them. So I'll discuss these with you at the live session. Also, don't forget, we have several of your PPR questions. Please go over them, read it, and then we'll review them at the live session. So hopefully when we get to the live session, this will make much more sense to you, and I'm hoping that by the time you start teaching, which I hope is soon, you'll have at least some understanding of what the evaluation system consists for you for that first year of teaching. Thank you, and we look forward to seeing you at the live session.